Hello again, and welcome. Michael Pizzolla here, and welcome to this edition of the Value Capping Rant. This will deal with the Kentucky Derby preps for Saturday, April 12th, 2014, namely the 2014 Bluegrass and the 2014 Arkansas Derby. Before I get into the specifics of races and all, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Michael Pizzolla, and I'm author of the best-selling book, Handicapping Magic. I'm co-author of the classic book, Pace Makes the Race, creator of the original online racing forum, and publisher of Post Time Daily 2.0, and Black Magic, the ultimate handicap software. And this is a picture of me doing what I love to do, which is teach and share and point to the real inner workings of a successful investor at the racetrack. And if you've been following these rants, I have actually revealed over the past few rants a secret weapon of sorts. And this may not be so obvious. So what I'd like to do is to not only go over the Bluegrass and the Arkansas, but I'd like to reveal to you why we can be successful at this game. I'll bet you already know this. It's a secret that's hidden in full sight. And I hope I've demonstrated it to you in these past video rants. Because it's not about picking winners or horses. That's really not the game. Let me show you what the game is about, and then we'll get into the specifics on the races. And here we are at Black Magic Ultimate Handicapping software. And last week we looked at the Wood Memorial and we looked at the Santa Anita Derby. And if you remember in the Wood, they had the right horses, Social Inclusion and Samrat, which finished second and third. A horse that I didn't know about, Wicked Strong, the two won the race. But with those two strong horses with no odds, I stayed out. Similarly, in the Santa Anita Derby, the top two horses, write down the 5 California Chrome and the 3 Opportunity. And yes, they finished 1-2. As a matter of fact, when you take out our pretty boy Floyd, the 1, the 6 and the 8, it's 5-3-6-8, exactly how it finished. But so what? I mean, that exacta, I think, paid $5 and, $5.60 for $1. I mean, good Lord. I stayed out of those races. I bet 3 races that day. Pimlico 6, this Shea Putter was right on top. And it had some good things in acupressure and so forth. Now, this is a thing that a lot of experts will never show you. Their bets or their pet software, software that they use. This horse almost finished dead last. It was next to last at 11-1. I did, however, think it was a good value investment. Similarly, in the Park's 8th that day, the horse right on top was Dr. Wesley. Thought it was a tremendous opportunity at 9-1. As it was, it finished second. The top 2 horses were first and second. It was a $99 exacta. Lovely. And then the race I did talk about on the last rant, the Carter Handicap. Good gosh. How straightforward can this be? Where you have the 4 just completely right on top, a 2360 horse. Thank you so much for those of you who, had this horse as a result of looking at this race with me on the rant. In fact, one of the users of Black Magic, a wizard, won a very prominent handicapping contest. This was one of the horses that he had, and it was somewhere about a $15,000 first prize. Now, it wasn't all because of me or my brilliant analysis and all of that. It was because, he uses the principles that we have been talking about in these value capping rants. But here's the secret weapon. Look how many races were listed that I could play in Las Vegas, because I can't bet online. I can play only in a book. There were 165 races listed. 5 of them were checkmarked. 2 of them, I didn't bet the big races. Oh, yes, I'll put a little, tiny little action bet on it. But I wound up betting 3 races. 1 finished off the board. 1 finished second and triggered a nice exacta, and 1 won at 23.60. I made this bet in the morning. My schedule that day didn't allow me to stay around at the race book. And for that little $40 bet, it was $472. Now, see, we all focus on, oh, what a great hit. Or last week, that $1,800 out for a $30 bet because, a bomb hit. It was the races that I didn't play, the races that I passed. This is what we go over in the Wizards Forum, and we go over in the monthly DVDs, and with the upcoming Value Capper, the emphasis will be on that, is just taking solid bets. So, all right, let's get down to Saturday's Bluegrass and Arkansas Derby. Okay, here we are back at Blackmagic Ultimate Handicapping Software. And by the way, if you have Blackmagic, this looks a little different. I've got an experimental version of the program that I'm looking at in the development of the new Value Capper software, which will contain Blackmagic within it. So if you see a few items that don't look the same as yours, that's why. But the numbers right now are exactly the same. So that should all match. But I look at the Toyota Bluegrass Stakes down at Keeneland on Saturday. And the first thing I notice is I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 horses above random. Remember, the mantra, if you will, or the slogan, if you will, of value capping is bet horses you like that the public shouldn't. The first part of that is horses you like. The top horse is Harry's Holiday. The you like part is 7-1. Does that mean you like him? Well, 7-1 means if they ran the race 8 times, this horse will only win once. That means I don't like him so much. It means you need a very large price to bet on it. And let's go one further. If you look at Harry Holiday's last race, it was extremely hard. I mean, this horse fought all the way around, just lost by a nose in the Spiral Stakes at Turfway Park. Now, it does have some good things going for it, I suppose. It's got a very, big primary pace number. So I wouldn't be averse to taking this horse at, 15-1 or so without much expectation, because it's 7-1 on my line. Underneath it, we've got Bobby's Kitten and Vince Ramos. And Bobby's Kitten, what do you say? It's just, it's 3 out of 5 lifetime. It's been running on the turf. Oh, here's the other thing that makes this race a puzzle. If you look at the track profiles at Keeneland, look at that energy expenditure and how late that is. And they don't run that 1.1 miles, so much early. But if we go back and look at last year's, look at how late, 48, 49, 49. Look, 51 is kind of, in the sustained area. This is late. Notice also, of the 7 races here, 4 of them were not won by the favorites. And these horses were coming from way back. And here's what makes this a puzzle. Because you take a horse like, colt actually, like Bobby's Kitten, and you come and you look at these percentage energy expenditures and you say, hoo-ha, this is a late horse, and therefore it matches the track profile, and therefore, yes, of course, I understand why this is one of the morning line favorites. Except it's been running on the turf. This is the first lifetime start on the dirt. Will that energy expenditure translate? Don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. I mean, we can think about it. We can look, it's Kitten's Joy and Celestial Woods or whatever the breeding is. Well, we honestly don't know. So it makes this race problematic. I would not make a serious bet for myself on the race. I might take a little 4, 5, 12 exacta box, maybe throw the 7 at 30 to 1 morning line. Why not? Put that in a trifecta little bet on Harry's Holiday. But serious bet? No. Moving to the Arkansas Derby. All right, above this red random line, there are only 5 horses. The very top horse is a horse. I keep saying horse. You know what I mean. It's colt. Okay, I got it. They're colts. It's Knock 'em Flat. 20 to 1 morning line, right on top. Okay, let's, take the rubber band off the bankroll. Well, not so fast. Take a look. This is here we start using all the tools, And believe me, I don't know very much about the horses' breeding and their suitability or their tendency to want to liken off track or the grass. But here's an example of a hint that those numbers can give you. So Knock 'em Flat comes right out on top. It just had a very nice win at Oaklawn where it won by 6 lengths. But you notice that was on a sloppy track. And you also notice that the ultimate sire ratings, the Dan Serra numbers over here, that's a very big off-track number. So question, if the track comes up fast today, will this horse do well? Don't know. Really don't know. However, I know the public will not bet this colt heavily because they will see it as a maiden. And the maiden is going into a grade 1 Derby prep. So a little flyer, sure. But there's a big question. And then the morning line favorite in the race is going to be Tapiture. What do you say about this horse? 6 starts, never out of the money, fighting. And here's the other question, is Bayern. 2 for 2 at Santa Anita, blew out a couple of fields. This Bob Baffert colt could be anything. I don't care what the numbers say. We don't know how good this is. It's only had 2 starts. What do you say? It's blown away the field. Don't have any hints from acupressure that there are no indicated closers in this highly pressured race. So once again, I might take a little flyer at Knock 'em Flat. But to be honest with you, I just don't know how this colt will run on a fast Oaklawn track on Saturday at a long price. Again, 15 to 1. Yeah, I take it without much expectation. Again, don't feel anything jumping off the page. Now, I urge you on these kinds of days that you look at some of the undercards. So, for example, because there's a lot of people who will go to Oaklawn to see the Derby, and there's a lot of kind of amateur money in the pools. So you take a race like the Oaklawn 5th that day, where Black Magic has the 9 horse Fleet and Sweet right on top. Now, again, I haven't done a big study. I'm doing this way in advance. I don't have the scratches. I don't have the changes and so forth. But I've got an unpressured race, and I've got a mare with a nice lead early. It's 20 to 1 morning line. I'll have to take a look at that race. If you look at the Oaklawn 8th, another race in the undercard at Oaklawn, a Fabulous Kid is on top. Don't know about this one because if you look, it had a very hard race and it's one and only race, but it won that one and only race. And again, like the Arkansas Derby, I know they're not going to bet a quote-unquote maiden going into a stakes race. So this may provide a good opportunity. The Hawthorne 7th, I may be looking at this top one, Prince Who, is 12 to 1 on the morning line. And again, in an unpressured race, shows up in the first acupressure column and shows up with a very big advantage in the second call velocity. So, well, that's it for this analysis of the value capping rant. Once again, thank you for all your great comments about your enjoyment of these videos and so forth. And boy, I heard from a lot of you who had that $120 horse, a lot of them using Blackmagic Ultimate Handicapping software. I've heard from those of you who had the Carter, and a number of you saying, wow, what a great call, Michael, and all of that. And well, thank you. Of course, I'm flattered. But the point of it, the real top secret sauce, is that I stay out of races that aren't very clear to me, like the 2 Derby preps. Now, will I have small action bets? Sure, of course. I allow myself that on the big races. But as far as a day-to-day, get the money through the windows, make a return, no. And the secret of doing just that is to wait for, as Ray Talbot would say, everything to be right and the price to be right as well. And if you take that to heart and use that in your work and your betting, and move away from playing races to investing in races, I think your results will get much, much more to your liking. So thank you. Thank you for taking this time with me. Thank you for allowing me to share with you my thoughts and insights on this great game that we all enjoy so much. Until next time, this is Michael Pizzolla saying, bet horses you like, but the public shouldn't, and let the bet make you. I'll see you soon.